This is DMG and welcome to 7DSystem. In this video we're going to talk about economic level and notoriety and fame. Let's get cracking! So firstly, if you like these videos and you'd like to support them, please check out patreon.com/7DSystem, where you improve my economic level, and that helps me put out more videos. So economic level is essentially a numeric indicator to determine how good your buying power is in the game. So traditionally in role-playing games, you would have, in fantasy games, you'd have gold pieces, bronze pieces, copper pieces, silver pieces, electrum, platinum, you name it. There's all kinds of different pieces. And then gems and diamonds and all these kind of things. In modern game, obviously you'd have dollars and cents and rands and pounds and all these other kinds of currencies. And in science fiction, you would have credits. Essentially, in 7DSystem, we use an economic level to determine how much or what sort of things a character is capable of purchasing with their buying power. So this is kind of a turn away from traditional things of keeping and counting of how many of things you've got. So no longer I've got 50 gold, 70 silver, and 20 copper. It's not like that. Because essentially that is, in any game, as you progress, you gain more and more and more and more and more of this stuff, and your buying power increases. So in 7DSystem, your buying power increases as you go through the game, and this unlocks things that you can purchase. So certain items will only be purchasable at certain economic levels. This does not mean that you can't have those items at any point in the game. You just can't walk into a shop and buy one, or walk into a tavern and stay there if you are not at that economic level. So this serves one key purpose, and that is to speed up transactions. So a lot of the time there's problems with people having to find how many gold pieces, and they haven't added up the last treasure thing that they got, and then DM has to look through a price list, or he has to come up with a price, and that's different from what they had last time. And how much is a sword? And the thing says, oh, that's 100 gold, or 5 gold, or 50 copper, or whatever. You eliminate all of that and just say, which economic level are you at? You have access to these items. This means that you now have to think a little bit more about what is and what is not available, and what you are allowing and not allowing to come into play. Because normally a person would walk into a shop and say, I'll buy that sword for 50 gold pieces. Now the person has to walk into the shop and say, I can afford that sword. And do you have one? And if we're going to have to haggle, we're going to have to haggle over quality. We're going to have to haggle over sturdiness. We're going to have to haggle over durability. We're going to have to haggle over decoration, and we're going to have to haggle over all of these different components rather than just price. Because if any salesperson with their silt knows, price is not something you want to be talking about. You want to be talking about everything else except price. Price is, once the person has decided to buy, then the price is easy. So economic level takes care of all the crunch that traditionally this takes, and usually when people are sitting around buying things, the game is slowing down. So you could have a party take 10 minutes, figuring out what they can afford. Now it's just, boom, I can afford this list. And now I have to talk to the person as to whether that is available, what sort of quality, what sort of durability, and all these other factors, which usually is never considered. So that's loosely how economic level works. And of course, as you extrapolate that out into different genres, the same sort of rules apply. Now, as a basic, you're most of the time you're going to be in economic levels 1 through maybe to 5. As you start to go higher than 5, up to like 10, 10 is you are essentially have the buying power of a small state. So, you know, you would be a very wealthy arms dealer, or you would be a king of a small country or something like that, where, you know, the normal affordability is not really a problem for you. But because the game just allows these things to happen, we don't have to quibble over bits and pieces. If he can afford to build a new castle, he can afford to build Newcastle. We don't need to go through the how much are the bricks, how much is the mortar, how much is the wood, how much is the architect. You can afford it. So coupled with that is notoriety and fame. And this really comes to a point where you are actually gaining followers, or hiring people, or hirelings as they're called, or essentially just expanding your influence within, you know, the regions that you're known. So notoriety and fame, again, is just an arbitrary number that indicates how well you are known, how famous you are, and the respect that you have, whether it's evil or good or whatever, that depends on the story you're in, but how much respect that you have within the world. So naturally, a higher notoriety and fame will automatically gain you followers. So people will be more open in cities that you visit to assist you with things because you are well known. Whereas if you have lower notoriety and lower fame, you are not going to be well assisted at all. And of course, in areas that you are not known, your notoriety or fame may have spread from another area, so you are more likely to be known in areas you have not actually been to yet. And that's at higher notoriety and fame levels. Again, it's just an arbitrary number that you build up as you go through the game, and perform things in the stories that helping small towns, or killing that giant ogre, or all these things. You start to gain notoriety and fame. So that attracts your cohorts, it attracts the hirelings, it makes it cheaper to hire people, so you can get more people to assist you when you want to move a wagon train from one town to another. It's much easier for you to find people to assist you with that. If you are starting a mansion or something and you need people, servants and things to help you with that, you can, of course, gain more if you have higher notoriety and fame. And of course, it smooths over political games as well. So that is notoriety and fame. Thank you for joining me in this video. If you like this, please click the like button. You can check me out on Facebook and Twitter /7DSystem. And of course, there's Patreon if you'd like to support these. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next 7D System Mechanic video. Thank you.